And now, from Louisville, Kentucky, the horse capital of the world and sports junkies' finest, giving you wagering advice and sports analysis. It's On the Switch with your host, Gino G.
Welcome back, everybody, to On the Switch Show. I'm your host, Gino G. I'm as always, with my brother-in-law, Travis. We're today talking about the World Cup, the knockout round, the Sweet 16, however you want to put it. We're down to 16 teams. All the groups have finished. We're going to be starting on Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time in Russia. We're going to go with Argentina and France. It's the very first Sweet 16 game. Interesting game because obviously it's two of the favorites coming into the World Cup. Now they're going to face off in the very first game of the knockout stage. Argentina, really, as we talked about in the last show, just fortunate enough to be in this spot. Messi looking to take his team to the next round, the round of 8. I will tell you, though, although France is a play against for me and has been since the very start of the World Cup, I do have to say France and Argentina, when they match up in the very first game of the round of 16, I am probably going to lean towards France just because I think Argentina on the back end is just not that good. I think France will be able to get shots on goal at will, and Argentina's goalie is subpar at best. So I'll look for France to take that one. Also on Saturday, you'll have Uruguay versus Portugal. Uruguay is the only team to not give up a goal. So it's hard for me to fathom that Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't score in this game. The biggest issue is if Spain scored 3 times, how many times do you think Luis Suarez is going to get a shot on goal? I would expect Uruguay to win this and win this one pretty easily. It's hard to, like I said, fathom Portugal not scoring in this game, but Uruguay might have the best defense in the entire World Cup, especially in this round of 16, the 16 teams that are left. I think Uruguay has the best back end. The goalie's not the greatest. Again, another subpar kind of goalie. But the back-end defense, it's going to be tough for Portugal to get a bunch of shots on goal. As long as Uruguay doesn't do a lot of fouling in their last fourth or last third and give up a bunch of corners, I think Portugal is going to really struggle getting shots on goal. So I would expect Uruguay to actually win this game pretty handily, maybe 1-0, but really not that close. Portugal not getting that many shots on goal. Perhaps even 2-0 if Uruguay really does push the token and really push the ball forward. So I would expect this game to be low scoring for sure. Although a lot of things would incline this to be more of a 3-1 or a 3-2 kind of game. I really think it's going to be low scoring because of Uruguay's back end. And I don't think they're really, besides Suarez, I don't think they're really one of the best offensive teams, to be honest with you. So I would expect this game to be low scoring. I will take Uruguay, though, as the winner going on to the round of 8. Now, on Sunday, you'll have Spain who plays Russia. Russia, obviously the host country. It's great for them to make the actual round of 16. We did expect them to make this part of the World Cup. I will tell you, the way that they got beat by Uruguay, obviously on their home turf, makes, for me at least, a huge concern in this game against Spain. Spain, as talented or more talented than Uruguay is. Uruguay handily beat them 3-0, and it was never close from go. I would expect Spain to do the same sort of thing, push the ball forward, make Russia foul them a lot, get a lot of set pieces, corners, free kicks from, go range for the guys of Spain. I will say Spain, they're young, they're talented, they're fast. I think Russia will have a hard time holding them down. I like Spain pretty handily in that game. Also on Sunday, I will tell you, and we talked about this the very first time we talked about the World Cup. One of the biggest bets when it comes to the group stage is Croatia winning their group. They won it handily, without an issue, without a problem, never close. They now get probably the easiest draw. We'll get to odds and those kind of things here in just a minute, but they probably have one of the easiest draws, although they play Denmark, which, like I said, I think Croatia wins this game in regular time. I don't think it'll ever go into overtime or PKs or anything like that. But Croatia then will play Spain. After that, after they play Spain, then it's wide open. Wide open. The right side of the bracket is going to be anybody's game. And like I said, we'll get to odds here in just a little bit. I like Croatia in this game. Obviously, Croatia is a team that we loved in the group stage. I didn't know how they might fare when it comes to the knockout rounds, but now the way that the bracket sets up, this could be a team that could run all the way to the championship game. I do think the winner will come from the left side of the bracket. As I said, we'll get to that in just a minute. But Croatia on the right side of the bracket could be a team who's going to be high odds. You can go to Bovada, Bet Online, all these offshore websites. I'm sure anybody who has a bookie, or now you live in New Jersey, right? You can go to Monmouth Park and you go up there, you see the odds. I'm telling you, Croatia is probably going to be around 20-1 to win the World Cup. 20-1 to win the World Cup for a team who's hot, playing well, can score. And when you look at that right side of the bracket, I'm telling you, not very many teams are going to challenge them getting to at least the finals. So a team to watch out for. But Croatia, Denmark, Denmark's just going to struggle to score. That's going to be their biggest issue. They're going to play back. They're going to try to get this into PKs where it becomes just like a luck fest. So I expect Croatia to move all their guys forward, pressure the ball as much as they possibly can, try to get into that last third and just get as many chances on goal as they possibly can. Modric has been just absolutely fantastic the entire World Cup. I expect him to probably score a goal in this game. So if you want to take that as a little bit of a future bet, I think he was plus 380. So put up $10, win 38 or get back 48. I like that a little bit. But moving on, probably one of the most intriguing games when it comes to the round of 16 comes on Monday. Brazil, who now with Germany being eliminated, becomes the favorite, right? Although they didn't play what I would consider Brazil soccer, they weren't the greatest team that I've ever seen. Brazil now becomes the favorite to win this World Cup. They're 3.5-1 to win the World Cup, right? Although, again, on the left side of the bracket, that's going to be a whole lot tougher and a lot of top 10 teams, top 5 teams that they'll have to get through to get to the final. They're now the favorites to win the World Cup, but they play a team in Mexico that beat Germany outright, 1-0. First game of the World Cup. It's hard for me to fathom that Mexico can pull the stunner twice in a World Cup. But as we said in our very first podcast when it came to the World Cup, Mexico was 100-1 to win the World Cup. They were 100-1 to win the World Cup. I said, with Chicharito and company, this is a team that if you want to lay down $10 to win 1,000, yeah. Now you draw Brazil. It's going to be a tough task for them to get to the finals. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. But the fact that they literally manhandled Germany, the returning World Cup champions, and they beat them 1-0. Why not a team like Brazil who's giving up shots on goal at will? And on top of that, the effectiveness on the offensive end for Brazil has just been lackluster at best. Now, they showed some spark in the very last game, but that was like a must-win game. Now they're in that situation again. It's hard for me to not think that Mexico doesn't have a chance in here, at least to draw in regular time. The draw in regular time is probably going to be a monster number, and I think that's something that we could play. So keep an eye on that. The next game is going to be an absolute blowout. I think Belgium plays Japan. Belgium could score 4 or 5 times, and Japan won't score. Belgium in a blowout as the second game on Monday. And then lastly, Tuesday, and probably, as we said on the previous show, the Belgium-England game when they played each other in the group play, we wondered, would somebody play down? Would they lose on purpose to get a better draw? That's exactly what England did. Belgium ended up winning 1-0. They get an easier first game draw, but looking past that, you play Brazil and then Uruguay or Portugal, or so there's a bunch of teams that they can lose to as on the other end. England gets a tougher draw very first game. They play Colombia. Colombia is going to be all men forward. They're going to try and score 20 times on you. Now, again, tougher first game draw. But on that right side of the bracket, I'm telling you, the way Harry Kane was scoring at will the first two games, he didn't play against Belgium, okay? But the first two games, the way he was scoring at will, why not? I mean, England has to be a team that you have to be looking out for. They play Colombia again. Not a very good draw for a team like England who's going to give up shots on goal, and that's what Colombia does, right? They're going to put all men forward and try to get 20 shots on goal. I mean, this is what they do, right? Very aggressive, very fast. So leaves some openings on the back end for, like guys like Harry Kane that it probably will get some shots on goal, but very tough draw for England in the very first game. Although England has disappointed in many World Cups, I find them in a very good spot here. I like them to get past Colombia, but I don't know if it's going to be in regular time. This could be a 1-1 game, a 2-2 game, something like that. So I don't want to say England in regular time because I think this very well could go into overtime. But I do like England's draw against Colombia. I think they do get past that game and move on to play the winner of Sweden and Switzerland. Now, what a doozy this is. Switzerland, again, another team is going to play defense. Right? They're not going to go out there and score 3 times. It's just not going to happen. The way Sweden manhandled Mexico in their very last game of the group to win the group, it makes me wonder if maybe this team's not catching fire at the right time. I like Sweden to win this game more because Switzerland's not that good rather than Sweden being that good. So I think Sweden will get all the chances they want on goal, and hopefully they put 1 or 2 or 3 in the back of the net, while Switzerland is hoping to just hold out for a 0-0 and get into overtime. Maybe they can get lucky, a set piece, something like that, score, win the game. But I expect Sweden to win this game outright. And then, of course, now that we have all of our selections for the round of 16, that leaves us to the round of 8. I'm not going to go through every single selection, but I want to give you a few bets when it comes to the World Cup, now winning the World Cup, new odds as per BetOnline and Bovada. Brazil, as I said, the 3.5 to 1 favorites. Spain is 4 to 1. Belgium is now 6.5 to 1. England 7.5 to 1. France is 8 to 1. Croatia is 10 to 1. Argentina is 12 to 1. Uruguay 22 to 1. Colombia 22 to 1, and Portugal 25 to 1. Everybody else is far, far, far above that. So let me give you a little 2 cents here. On our very first podcast, when it comes to the World Cup, I told you all that I felt like the championship game would be Belgium versus Spain, which still can happen. Spain can get through the right side of the bracket. Belgium can get through the left side. Okay. I'm going to stick to that, but I want to give you all a few extra, what I think is value. Croatia at 10 to 1 to win the World Cup. I don't love it, but I will tell you this. I love the 6 to 1 that you can get for them to get to the championship. 6 to 1 for Croatia to get to the championship. I like that a lot. Again, they get past the first game, then you play Spain. Once you play Spain, then you basically will probably most likely play the winner of Colombia and England. Colombia and England will probably beat Switzerland or Sweden. So that draw, it just in itself, the way that they're playing, 6 to 1 to make the finals of the World Cup, I like that a lot. I think that's a huge value. Huge value. And then, lastly, again, I know that I have gone on record by saying I have a big bet on Belgium to win the World Cup at 10.5 to 1 or 11 to 1. Okay. And I understand that I still, as I just said 3 seconds ago, I have Belgium versus Spain and Belgium winning the World Cup. But a team in Uruguay who has not given up a goal, they're the only team that has not given up a goal this entire World Cup. Okay. Although maybe not the best goalie in the world, as I said earlier, subpar. This is a team with Luis Suarez that can run the table. They are 22-1 to win the World Cup. They're 11-1 to get to the finals. Now, they have a gauntlet. Don't let me fool you. They have an absolute gauntlet to get through. Of course, you have to beat Portugal in the very first game. Then you play France, most likely. It could be Messi and Argentina, but you play France or Argentina. Then you play, most likely, Brazil, Belgium winner. I mean, bro, come on. This is a lineup of 3 games that can't get any harder. This is as hard as it gets. But at 22-1 to win the World Cup, you can count me in for a few dollars. 11-1 to make the finals, you can definitely count me in for a few dollars. So I do have to say those two are the most intriguing bets when it comes to the World Cup. Now the round of 16, the overall odds. I still like Belgium. The fact that we can still get 6.5 to 1 to win the World Cup is just silly. I think they're the best team. They are the most talented. They are young, fast, strong, big. I do like Belgium to win the World Cup. So I hope all these bets, selections, this information you all can find useful. Stay with us as I will be traveling, so I'll be a little bit away, but we want to keep in touch with you all. We want to touch base. We hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. Watch the World Cup Saturday as it all starts and plays out. Round of 16 knockout stage. It's always super interesting, these games, because now it's win or go home. You don't get a second shot or a third shot. Win or go home. There's a lot of games that go to PKs, which makes it really, really nerve-wracking and fun to watch. We can live bet at certain points as well. But I hope all of y'all stay with us. If you haven't already and you're listening to this, subscribe to us. Drop us a rating. Give us 5 stars. Leave us a question. You can get at us at GinoG@ontheswitch.com. You can send Travis an email at travis@ontheswitch.com. We love you all very much, and we'll talk to you soon.
On the Switch.